So the topic for today is understanding risk and return, possible to control in our side. That is what we need to do when it comes to investments. So definitely return is not in our control. We don't know how much return we will get. So the point is, how do we manage risk so that you get a decent return? I think that is what Mr. Ramalingam also highlighted in the beginning. And that's the way we need to go about it. So what is that we are trying to discuss today? One is, when I talk about risk, there are actually risks from two people. One is, as a investor, I have carry some risk, right? There was a interesting quote. That's what I said. You should share that quote. Personal finance is 80% personal behavior and 20% finance, right? So very important to understand our own behavior towards risk. That's where I kept that investor in the front, because 80% is actually our own behavior. And next is also understand the investment related risk. That's how we are going to discuss today. So then we will get a better idea, because assuming certain level of risk, what is the kind of return we should look at? Yeah. So that is what we are going to discuss today. So first, let us understand from you, what is risk according to you? So in simple terms, risk is not getting the expected return. Risk is nothing but not getting the expected return, because our entire calculation to start with, I will discuss about it as we do asset allocation. We have to assume certain amount of return, right? So when you don't get it, that's where we get into risk, right? Because return is not in our control and it is going to be volatile, as somebody mentioned also. So that is where risk is not getting expected return. If you get that expected return, then there is no risk. That's where we say my bank FDs or a post office, they don't have any risk, because for the simple reason, because you will get that expected return. So risk is all about not getting your expected return. And the second concept is, we always sometimes, or I'll say most of the times, we believe by maximizing risk, we can maximize return. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. I mean, I have to see that, but a decent level of return by managing risk is what I need to do as an investor. Otherwise, many people feel that, because if I maximize risk, I will get maximum return. Classic example is investing in Bitcoins, right? When you can see what kind of return people would have got, and they also seen the downside of that investment, right? So maximum risk, maximum return. Obviously, it doesn't work that way. And just to explain it further, I'm showing you this particular slide. So when you look at this, lower risk, lower return, we have clearly which are the investments. Your bank FD, your postal savings. Then we try to reduce risk by diversification and slightly improve the return. That is all about mutual funds, which is what we'll be talking more today. And some of you might be interested in investing directly in the equity market. So you are definitely taking a higher risk. You can expect higher returns. But there is no portfolio where you can take very high risk and get lower returns. It doesn't happen normally. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know, man. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. So you don't have a portfolio where you get higher risk and lower return. And similarly, higher risk and higher return also, definitely we should not expect it. Though certain examples like Bitcoins are there. Those are really extreme cases. I will not consider that as investments. If you ask me personally, some of them may not agree with it, but it's fine. I mean, that is my personal opinion on that. Because, some portion of money, which I will talk later. So next is, I was telling 80% of personal finance is personal behavior, right? So when we are saying that, we need to understand what is our behavior. So when it comes to investor, we need to take care of two things. Yeah. One is the ability to take risk, and second is the willingness to take risk. Yeah. So when it comes to ability to take risk, we have all this criterion. What is the age of the client, family situation, what is the health of the client, occupation, sources of income, assets and liabilities, duration to goal. Are you well insured, right? Say, for example, if you have to give a simple example, in the last 1.5 years, maybe some of us would have lost job or some of us would have got into serious health problems, right? Then what becomes important is to protect whatever we have saved so far. Under that circumstances, then I have to review my portfolio and definitely reduce the risk. And I don't know whether I quoted, I can share my own personal examples. In 2003 and somewhere around 2003, I had a serious problem, right? So at that point in time, I mean, almost my equity portfolio was worth 8 lakhs. I mean, I can still remember those numbers. Bharti Airtel at 35 rupees, Canara Bank at 62 rupees, Infosys at throwaway prices. I mean, I had a very good portfolio of 8 lakhs, right? Probably it would have been worth some crores today if I have retained. Why I'm giving this example is at that point in time when I was in serious trouble, the first thing I did is I liquidated this entire stock portfolio. I said, boss, I can't hold my investment in stocks now because managing my next couple of years was equally important. So that time I reduced completely, or rather I sold out all my equity. I was sitting in cash of 8 lakhs, right? Why I'm saying is very important to understand our ability to take risks. We cannot gamble with our investments. Very, very important. That's why I said, how do I understand my ability? It all depends on all these factors. Age is a factor, but if you are really wealthy, then age is not a factor because there are people who are beyond 70 also will have a high exposure to equity because I mean they have covered up those other things, right? So age definitely is a factor, but it may not apply to everyone. It depends on what is your net worth, and that's how we can decide. Health is very important. That's where we always focus and spend some 1 hour, 2 hours daily because health is very crucial if you want to manage your finances because that can be the biggest sucker of all our investment because majority of your money goes in managing your health, especially once you stop earning, that can completely take away all your investments. So health is very important. And of course, what kind of job you have, a steady job or you have to have a risky or volatile job, your source of income, the assets and liabilities, how much duration you have to achieve your goal. Very short duration, obviously I should not take risk. So your ability to take risk is very important. Always understand that. Yeah, because there will be trying situations in life, right? Where you have to take that call of reducing the equity exposure, as I was mentioning. So all that will happen. Let's be clear about it. The next is you may have all the money, you may be definitely have the ability to take risk, right? But equally important is, are you willing to take risk? Are you willing to take risk? I've seen many senior citizens clearly telling me in the beginning itself, I have retired, I don't want to take any risk. So they say, this is a corpus, I want to protect my corpus. So they are very clear that they don't have the willingness because of their own past experience. In fact, one of the client day before he was sharing with me, I had given my mutual fund investments to XYZ and it didn't work well. So I had a negative experience. I don't want to invest in mutual funds. Now that is his experience. Now, based on that experience, he has taken a call. But we have so many people today, your experiences could be different, right? Some of you might have the same experience. Many of you might have a different experience. So your past experience will drive you to take this call about willingness. Yeah. And of course, if somebody's personality itself is not to take risk, then you will never take risk in life, right? So all these matter when it comes to willingness. So as an investor, what I should do is I should look at this matrix, which I'm going to show you in the next slide. Yeah. Now the point here is we are taking 2x2 matrix. One is the ability and second is the willingness. Right. Now, if you don't have the ability, this is a box, right? And you also don't have willingness, there is no way you can take risk. Because what is more important is first ability. If ability is not there, definitely not worth taking risk, right? Similarly, you have the ability, right? But the question here is, you don't have willingness also, both, right? Both are no here, which means what? You don't have ability, you don't have willingness. Again, the answer is simple, straightforward, no. Simple, straightforward, the answer is no. Now, the next box here, you have both ability and willingness, then there is no problem. That also is a straightforward answer. So out of the 4 boxes, 3 things are straightforward. Both no, straight away, boss, you are no. One is yes, other is no, then also it is no. Both are yes, then it is yes. Now the question here is, you have the ability, but you don't have the willingness. This is the box which all of us as investors should concentrate. Because this is where you have the ability, which means what? You can definitely withstand that risk because you have the ability. Probably you have created huge assets. So you'll be able to manage even if there is a downturn in the market. So the ability is very much there. But the issue here is willingness. So that is where, as an investor, this is the box which I should concentrate. Remaining 3s are all straightforward answer. There is no decision making at all. Decision making comes here in this box, right? So how do I take a decision if I'm falling in this blue box? So this is where the decision making comes into picture. This is the box which as an investor I need to address, right? So what is that I should decide? First thing what I will do here is, yes, I have the ability means there is enough resources for me to manage. So then what I will do is, the second step what I will do here is, with this resources, can I manage my future or balance period of my life without taking any risk? For example, what do I mean by that? I have a corpus of, let's say, 2 crore rupees. I'm just giving an example. Now with a return of, let's say, 5.5%, can I manage my future life, right? Here, what I need to also consider is inflation. So I need to see whether my inflation adjusted return is sufficient to carry forward this corpus of 2 crores. Right? Here, the simple answer is we always talk about a 4% withdrawal rate. I spoke about it in the last meeting also. My retirement corpus, how much it should be? Simple thumb rule calculation. 300 times your monthly requirement. Simple thumb rule calculation. If you have that much, then with a rough return of around 6% and the inflation adjusted another 2-3%, you should get a inflation adjusted return or real return. What we call it as around 3 to 4% should be good enough. So that is what I will see. So the point here is, if you feel that you have enough corpus, which you can manage your entire life by adjusting against inflation and also investing in a product where there is no risk, then don't take any risk. Then don't take any risk, right? But if you feel that I don't have enough corpus and this corpus may not last long, then you will be forced to take risk. That is what you need to ask yourself. Do I have enough corpus that even with a risk adjusted or inflation adjusted return of 3%, I'll be able to manage this corpus for next 30 years? Then absolutely don't take risk. Otherwise, you have to take risk. That is where we should not, and how to take that risk, we'll be seeing as we go forward. So the most important decision here is, ask yourself whether you are in a situation where you need to take risk. Willingness is fine. You don't have willingness, as many of you said, absolutely fine. But the most important question we need to ask here is there a need to take risk? If there is a need, then how much? That is what I need to ask myself in this question. Willingness is not there. Need is also not there. But then don't even take risk. Absolutely be happy with whatever you are doing. Absolutely be happy. So the point here to understand is whether there is a need to take risk. Willingness is not there, fine. But is there a need to take risk? Yes. I'm assuming, right? My assumption could be wrong, right? I'm assuming that whoever said I am in the blue box are all retired people, right? This is my assumption, right? My assumption could be wrong. Now let us take a case where somebody has not retired, he is in his, let's say, late 40s. I'm just giving an example. Now the question here is, if this gentleman or woman says that I'm not willing to take risks, I'm in my late 40s, then again the same logic applies. then again the same logic applies. There is a need or not? Is there a need? Yeah. If there is a need, I have to take. So then what are the things I'll be doing, right? So first what I will do is, before taking risk, I will ensure that I have covered the other risks. What are those other risks? In case something happens to me, whether I have taken sufficient insurance or not. So I will take whether I have kept emergency fund or not. I will tick box all those things before even taking risk, because now there is a need for me to take risk. But before taking that decision, what I'll be doing is I will check that boxes. Which are those boxes? Was have I covered under insurance sufficient amount so that my family doesn't suffer in my absence? Second is, have I created an emergency fund? Third most important thing is, what is that if I take risk and the plan fails? What is the backup I have? Do I have enough backup? Here, ability is there, which means you have backup. Please understand this. This is most important. You have the ability means you have backup. You have the necessary sources. Then how much risk is what you need to decide. So I'll put this into two baskets. Somebody who has retired and somebody who has not retired. Somebody who has retired, the question is very simple. Do you need to take risk? If the answer is yes, willingness is not there, but the need to take risk is there, then there is no choice, you have to take risk. Otherwise, what will happen is your standard of living might come down, or the second important point is you may exhaust your corpus before we leave this world, right? So that is more dangerous. So that's where some amount of risk might be required. Again, it is not a thumb rule. It depends on individual to individual. Only you can decide whether there is a need to take risk. So as an investor, my humble request to each one of you is, please address this blue box. That should be your first point which you have to take care. Yeah.